Join me today as we pull out the polymer clay and make some fun hard candies for the dolls in the dollhouse. This video is part of a collab put together by Little Crafty Kitty, so be sure and check the description below for the hashtag to find the rest of the playlist and see who else is taking part in this collab. So stay tuned and see how to make these. All right, off camera, I mixed my clay. I have a piece here that's 2 parts orange to 1 part translucent. This is 2 parts black to 1 part translucent. And this is 1 part pearl to 1 part translucent. So we're going to make a couple of fun little Halloween candies. Let's start with a really simple piece here. I'm going to roll out an orange snake and a black snake. We don't need much. These are relatively soft clays, so they're easy to work with, but they're very sticky this morning. And we're not going to worry about twisting yet. We're just going to roll this out into a very, very thin snake. That's a little too thin there in the middle. Okay, I need that cornstarch in the tub off to the side. That's better. The cornstarch will keep the clay from sticking to your fingers. Unfortunately, it will also prevent it from sticking to itself a little bit. All right. I just want to roll it into a little round. Ah. All right. It. Come on. All right, now you need to keep track of where you left that end of that clay. What I've got here is some 18 gauge floral wire. At least I think it's 18 gauge. The label's gone off of the package, I'm guessing. I dipped it in TLS. Translucent liquid Sculpey. I'm holding my finger here to keep this flat. And I'll use my blade and transfer it to my baking surface. Today I am baking on a paper plate that's lined with a small piece of baking parchment. Let's see, let's do another piece. Let's do just a little tiny bit of orange and a little bit of black. I want to cut these off so they're all the same length. And now we're going to roll them out. cut it in half. When it gets too long, it's too hard to keep it straight and get it even, so trim it when you need to. This soft clay is not liking working in the really fine details, which is why typically on this channel I use Fimo, not Sculpey 3, but I'm actually doing versions of the same project on both my doll channel and this channel today, so I wanted to make sure I had soft enough clay to use for the bigger. Dip it in the Sculpey again, in liquid Sculpey. And move it to the table, to the baking surface. Now I have some various scraps of clay here from a couple of other pieces of candy I've been making. I've been playing around with this for a couple of days just to get some ideas for what to make. And I thought one of the things I would do is just take some of my black and orange and pearl scraps. There's like ends of canes and just like the little pieces we had there. And I'm going to chop these up. And now we don't want this to get mixed. This is a total experiment that I just thought of. But I'm thinking what I can do. Roll this out pretty fine. And now we've got a whole bunch of little miniature size jawbreakers. I'm losing them. Just roll them into little balls and bake them. I'm going to dip my finger in cornstarch here, because that will help my finger from sticking. Put those on my baking surface. Come on, break apart. Okay, it's going to be big. All right, so I'm going to bake all of our, let's do one more with this. I've got this guy here. Let's go ahead and make one more lollipop. Actually, let's make this one into, because I got one more wire cut. Twist it. And this time I'm going to dip the wire into the liquid Sculpey first, and then bring the clay to it. And proceed to break it. My clay is liking to argue with me today. Okay. When it's sticking to you that much, it's time for some cornstarch on your fingers. There we go. Now, I'm not worried if the sticks here are cut the right length yet. That can be trimmed after we get all done. In fact, if you've got a slightly longer stick, it will be much easier to work with. And there we go. A little unicorn pop. All right. Well, let's do one. Might as well cut these into this little guy into candy sticks. No, we're not. It's too sticky. All right, I'm going to bake that off at 275 for probably only about 5 minutes, as thin as those are. When they are baked and cooled, I'll come back and we'll go to the next step. All right, these are all baked off and cooled now, and I think they turned out really nicely. I do have some more scrap clay here, and I think what I'm going to do off camera is I'm just going to make some more of those little round balls out of some of the various pieces I've got that I've been playing with. When those are done and baked, I will come back and we'll put a finish on these and we'll see how they look. All right, so here's our little jawbreakers, or whatever you want to call them, that I made from the ends of the clay. So I'm going to dump that into here. Well, first I'm going to put some Mod Podge in here. I'm just going to put a little bit of satin Mod Podge. It's this one. And I'm going to put a little bit of water. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice this morning. Because we don't need this to be really thick for these. So I'm going to put those in there. And the one that ran away. And then I also have our other little candies we made that are similar. So let's get all of these in there. And now I'm just going to kind of run them around in there. And of course you can do your own take on this. Pick what you like for your Halloween candies for your dollhouse. And now I'm going to pull these out. Now the biggest secret here is get them all out of this plastic container, and this is a piece of parchment paper that I'm putting them on. And then use your brush or some kind of tool and separate them. You want them laying individually, not in a gob. You don't want any of them touching their neighbor. It's that pointy tool. There we go. And then this won't take long to dry because it is thinned down quite a bit. Now, we've got these 3 suckers to do. Let's get you up just a little bit. We've got these guys. I'm losing my voice this morning. So we've got these 3, and what we're going to do is I'm going to take the same satin Mod Podge. This time I'm using it straight, just like it comes in the bottle, and I'm going to paint these. think on this scale it's going to be easier to put them into the foam core. And this is just a strip of scrap foam core. You could use styrofoam, you could use anything you've got to stick these down into. You just need them held upright so they don't stick to anything while they're drying. And that just all needs to dry now. And once that is dry, we can come back and we'll take a look at how these look. We'll trim these lollipop stems and we will see how they look with the dolls. Alright, the Mod Podge on our candies has all dried and they're ready to display however you want to display them in your dollhouse. If you will have to kind of pick them loose off of here and kind of watch, they do like to fly. If any of them have big chunks of Mod Podge that, you know, dried and real wide underneath them, just cut that off with scissors. If you need to trim the wires on any of your lollipops, just use a pair of wire cutters. Don't use scissors, use real wire cutters because that wire is heavy enough that you will hurt yourself if you cut it with something that's not made for that. But let's move this off to the side and let's get our little friend here. And first let's put one of these in his hand. There. That is the perfect size for like a jawbreaker or a big hard candy. I think he'll enjoy that later. If you want to show these displayed in the doll's hand, that's pretty easy to do either with a glue dot or some kind of other small sticky thing like that. Same with these. You can put a glue dot in the palm of the doll's hand and push this into it and he will hold it like he's holding onto the stick. And I think these are going to be adorable. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure and push the like button. If you haven't subscribed and you enjoy my content, be sure and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications so you know when I put a new video up. If you're here from the collab, welcome. I hope you enjoyed what you saw and you'll stick around, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.